Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, that was fast. Before I could even upload my video covering the Elon Musk Twitter poll, and of course the outrage that followed, Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump, was unbanned on Twitter. A little bit awkward for me, of course, because I'm uploading videos the next day, and I'm speculating about, will Donald Trump be unbanned? And then the video drops and Donald Trump is already unbanned. But I guess that's just the way things are sometimes. Anyways, all this to just say, that was fast. The man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, the Don 45 is back. And boy, oh boy, was Twitter an absolute havoc the other night, as conservatives and free speech enthusiasts in general across the board were cheering for this massive First Amendment victory. And boy, oh boy, were leftoids seething with rage, screeching like banshees, like I normally say, losing their absolute minds. And that, of course, is exactly what we got to talk about. I want to put it into perspective a little bit, cover what some of these supposed intellectuals are going on about on the platform. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so there it is. Donald Trump is back. It's been an absolute wild ride, but finally the right thing has been done. The former president of the United States has been reinstated. And you'd think that in a perfect world where people had basic common sense, that unanimously this would be a good thing, that the former president of the United States should have the right to speak online. But of course, we don't live in a perfect world, we live in a clown world, and instead, what we get is a bunch of screaming lunatic leftists. Of course, what I keep asking is, how is this even controversial? How are people angry? How are people losing their minds? How have their minds been so conditioned by the media and the outrage machine to be angry at the idea that Donald Trump deserves the right to speak and be heard? How have people become such authoritarians, such control freaks, overprotective parents who want to dictate what can and can't be said in the battleground of ideas? And it's especially worse when it's coming from supposed intellectuals and thought leaders. There's some people on the left, some figures on the left, who have been deemed fair or who conservatives give respect. One of them is Eric Weinstein, the left-wing professor from the Evergreen College situation, Joe Rogan's friend, supposedly part of the intellectual dark web. Well, here's Eric Weinstein's reaction to Elon Musk's decision. After the Twitter poll, Elon Musk wrote, "The people have spoken, Trump will be reinstated." Eric Weinstein then responds, "This is such BS. I'm sorry, but you lost me here. Are all major decisions going to be Twitter polls? Ever faced the voice of the people as a mob? Is a mob God? Come on. You wanted to reinstate him, so you did. Simple." What kind of response is this? There seems to be so much outrage over the fact that supposedly this decision was made off of a Twitter poll. But was it really? Or is that just a literal interpretation? If anything, what it looks like to me is yet again another elaborate Elon Musk troll. He's playing around. He's having fun. He stated months ago, even before buying the platform, that his intention was to reinstate Donald Trump. But here we go again with these left-wingers pushing the same sort of outrage, the same kind of hyperbole that we always see. This is destructive and reckless. Somehow, unbanning the former president, who was totally unjustly banned from the platform, is reckless because it was done through, I guess, Democratic majority? Somehow that's mob rule. It's ridiculous. But let's move on. Here's Sam Harris, another supposed intellectual. The prevailing opinion among free speech absolutists appears to be that this platform, in order to become healthy, must helplessly publish the malicious lies of any maniac at scale, regardless of the consequences. Good luck with that. And my almost immediate reaction is, sounding smart doesn't necessarily equate to high intellect. The prevailing opinion among the free speech absolutionists, blah, 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 blah. You could say whatever you want. This is still a dumb take. Excuse my language. First of all, what is a free speech absolutist? We understand that free speech comes with some limitations. And speaking of these platforms helplessly publishing malicious lies at scale, I mean, that's pretty much been the business of Twitter, Facebook, and other platforms basically since their inception. Promoting, case in point, by endlessly promoting the media and their fake news, their destructive fake news that has led to actual real-world consequences. Fake news about police officers, putting them in direct life danger, leading to the highest rate of police officer casualties on the job in decades over the last 2 years. Not to mention the riots, the burning, and everything else, as people promoted false information about various different incidents to rile up the crowd, causing all the violence that we saw. Let's talk about all the fake news involving Trump supporters and Donald Trump and the MAGA extremist threat, which led to a Trump supporter being viciously assassinated on the streets of Portland indiscriminately. Not to mention Trump supporters across the country being assaulted for merely wearing a red hat with words on it. Let's talk about Russiagate and the media actively playing a role in spreading misinformation, trying to convince the public that their president is a Manchurian candidate working for the Russian government, a Kremlin spy. Is that what you mean by pushing misinformation at scale? No, somehow that threat only applies to the evil orange man. This person doesn't possess deep intellect. This person cannot see past their nose. Not to mention the fact that Donald Trump's unbanning is proving just how deep the left-wing misinformation goes. Take a look at Donald Trump's Twitter feed. All of his latest posts come from right after January 6th. We've gone through 2 years of insurrection. Donald Trump caused violence. Donald Trump called for violence. Donald Trump was the key perpetrator and organizer of the January 6th insurrection. We even saw House representatives during Nancy Pelosi's sham January 6th trial submitting edited, doctored Donald Trump tweets in order to make this point. But if you look at his most recent tweets, it's nothing but him calling for an end to the violence, trying to calm things down. If anything, the reinstating of Donald Trump's account debunks dangerous misinformation that has caused so much division over the last 2 years. I mean, these people have convinced themselves that they're almighty intellectuals, but really they're sheep of the flock that are just following the narrative, seemingly unable to think for themselves. You are not the intellectual, you are not the good guy if you're seething at the idea that the former president of the United States' online right to free speech has been restored. Frankly, I think you're a lunatic. And there's some people on Twitter who aren't happy that I've called out Sam Harris and Eric Weinstein, but give me a break. If you're on the side of the leftist cancel culture mob, I want nothing to do with you, and I don't think that you should be taken seriously. You're on the side of the authoritarian leftist cancel mob. And what do you think is currently happening as leftoids are losing their mind that Elon Musk has reinstated Donald Trump's Twitter account? Of course, here we go again. The authoritarian left does exactly what you might expect: engage the cancel culture machine. Shannon Coulter writes, just emailed the head of safety at Apple and Google respectively to ask if their app stores will continue to carry the Twitter app now that Elon Musk has reinstated Donald Trump. All right, Karen, now calm down. Take a breather. Maybe pour yourself a glass of wine and just relax. But of course, jokes aside, here we go again, emailing the managers, calling for Google and Apple to remove Twitter from the app stores. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Here's Jonathan Greenblatt from the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. Elon Musk's decisions over the last month have been erratic and alarming, but this decision is dangerous and a threat to American democracy. We need to ask, is it time for Twitter to go? Here we go with a threat to democracy. Somehow, free speech, and even crazier, a former president's right to free speech being reinstated, somehow that's a threat to democracy. I don't even know what to say. You guys are thinking it. I honestly don't know how these people even exist. All I hope for is that Donald Trump comes back to Twitter and breaks the internet. I believe that he deserves a voice now more than ever, as the entire machine is trying to destroy him. Everyone's talking about Donald Trump. Everyone's creating all of these narratives about him on Twitter, and it's pretty unfair that he hasn't had the ability to speak for himself and defend himself or hit back. So I hope he comes back and takes control of the narrative once again, and I think that is truly what they're scared of. That's what I got for you guys, though. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.